No Simple Road. Yeah, here we go.
I know the road may seem to go on forever and a lifetime.
Good morning, NSR. It's Dave from California, from San Francisco, as Apple said in this Monday morning rewind. And I just wanted to say that congratulations on 400 episodes for sure. I love you guys so much, and just wanted to let you guys know what No Simple Road means to me. And you guys are a salve for the soul, or a salve for the soul. I don't know how you pronounce that word, but
me either, Dave.
I've said before that there are episodes I listen to that are just what I need when I need, and those are usually Monday episodes, but sometimes it's a conversation with an artist. And I enjoy your silliness. So if you guys are worried about not having anything to say, just be yourselves on the mic is my suggestion, in which it sounds like you guys do anyway. So
Duly noted.
I love you guys so much.
Love you too, Dave.
And I really appreciate you guys having started No Simple Road when you did. I enjoyed what it was when you started it, and I enjoy what it has become over the years. Even though I haven't been a constant listener, I have listened to my fair share of episodes, not all 400, but yeah, the show is fantastic. You guys definitely radiate love through the show, and all of us out here in the family are definitely picking up on that. Much love to you guys, and keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
I love you.
Love you too, man. I don't even know what to say to that.
That does like a warm blanket on a snowy day.
That's
as we
right.
sit here recording on a snowy day.
So
you always make us feel good, Dave.
If you didn't notice, we're switching things up this week. We got more. So here we go.
All right, what's up, No Simple Road? This is Skyler. We're calling in from Asheville, North Carolina. Giving a little report on the string cheese incident down in Atlanta. Their fire runs at the Tabernacle.
Probably the best run that
Yeah,
I've seen.
it was the last night was my 175th show, and
How come you don't see him very
best
often?
shows I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it sounded like you said fish.
It was also the first time that I've ever been to a 3-night run of any band in my life.
How you feeling,
So
buddy?
it was pretty incredible.
Ready for that 4-day
I'm
run.
Ryan.
And
Hey, how's it going? I'm Madison.
What's
yeah,
up?
so I brought Ryan down for his first incident ever.
Yeah, it was a hell of an
shit.
incident, I must say.
First 3 incidents. Okay.
Yeah, it was a great 3 incidents.
They threw down.
Yeah, I had some cheese magic happen. So, like, the Uber driver got to talking about reggae, and I got invited to...
First night.
Yeah, first night. I got invited back in the day to Rollick Fest, and I ended up driving Bunny Whaler to the festival the first
shit.
time back in the U.S. since Bob Marley died.
Oh,
And then we get to the
wow.
cheese show, and none of us knew. But Bob Marley, it was his birthday, and Cheese announced it to everybody, and we all looked at each other like, "What the hell?" I can't even believe it.
What
the hell?
Yeah.
And in addition to that, on the way down, I was saying how I really would love to hear Tinderbox, as always. And we were also discussing Land's End and how that would be a really cool thing to hear because it's not played very often. And literally in the second set, they played Tinderbox and then Land's End directly after it, which was another cheese magic.
Yeah, that was some cheese magic. Cheese-to-fry. And it was hot Atlanta, man. Like, Atlanta is a cool city.
That was a cool spot. We were in Midtown, and that place was awesome. They had, like, rainbow flags everywhere. Everybody there was so chill. Yeah. That park right down the street from us.
And then on last night, Jason Hahn threw an after party.
Oh, that was such a good after party.
And dude, oh my God, listen to this shit.
Uh-oh.
It was like strobe lights, bringing me back to my Kyoto days, man. We're good. Yeah.
Some good shit.
They went hard.
Uh-oh. We're falling apart. We're coming apart at the seams. But there's more. Wait, there's more.
To continue that conversation. Man,
This is the way you do a trip report.
Crushes.
Yeah, that was a cool venue.
And in addition to that, across the street there was a pho place that was open till 5 a.m., which
that was
shit.
It was like a
after show.
It was like a weird sex club vibe.
Very seductive pho.
Yeah,
they wanted some pho for sure.
It was great.
Pho for the soul.
But yeah, so cheese. Oh man. The Tabernacle was built in 1910.
Yeah, it was a Baptist church, and then it got converted to a music venue in 1970.
There's some mojo in that place.
And somebody told me that it was actually a house of blues at one point, which is wild. So I've seen a lot of good music come through there for sure.
Yeah,
you could feel it, dude. It was both of that.
So geez, then they had to I know they threw down legendary shows back in 2000s or something like that. I mean, they brought it back. So, man, hot Atlanta.
The last night was insane.
They jammed. Yeah, they did.
I wonder if they jammed though.
We need to introduce these people to John B.
There's 3 stories too, man. Inside there were 2 balconies, and they were all open.
Yeah. So
the first night.
The first night. They had, let's see.
They played Black Market.
Black Market
on the first night.
Played forever.
8 years, I think. 7 years.
With Rhonda, I can't remember her name. Came in set.
They had
Thomas, I think.
Yeah,
people that dude come in.
But yeah, so first night jams, Flying South Jam, Lantern Jam,
Tesmo Jam,
Big Tabernacle Jam, 5 jams in one.
It's a lot
show.
of jam.
Yeah,
and then
jam
second
sandwich.
night, Saturday, was again more jams.
Oh, they jammed. So many jams.
But did they jam?
I was missing the peanut butter. There was so much jam.
3 jams.
Peanut butter and jam.
Yeah, they brought it so hard. The crowd was so amazing.
The second night they did Valerie.
And they did 2 encores that last night too, which was wild, man.
But then is the first one an encore?
That was really, really cool.
Little Hand, second song of the first
Double
set
encore.
on the second night, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Into One Step Closer. They also played Cottonmouth, which I feel like isn't a very common thing at all.
Yeah, Cheese crushes it. We fucking love you guys.
Man.
Love you guys. No Simple Road.
Aw. Thanks for the love.
You guys
That was
too.
fun.
That made it like when people say they feel like they're like in the room with us. Thanks for making us feel like we were in the room with you. That was like just sitting around the room
Totally.
talking about
the show,
the jam.
Yeah, and your first 3-day run. Congratulations on not dying and making it through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
Well
you're ready.
done.
Now you're ready for that 4-day run.
Mm-hmm. Hey, now, No Simple Road family. This is Aaron.
And it's Mel.
And this is Apple, and that is how you do a trip report on the Tepid
Absolutely.
line.
Yeah, if you want to do that too, you can call 971-808-1524, and you got 3 minutes or 6 minutes or whatever.
9 minutes,
Yeah.
whatever you come up with.
Increments of 3 minutes
Yes.
stacked on top of each other.
But yeah, man, this week's episode, I am so stoked to bring you guys our new friend, Steve Kelly.
Steve Kelly, thank you so much.
He is a singer, songwriter, producer, business owner, Renaissance man,
digital Swiss Army knife entrepreneur,
wielder. Yeah, this cat has one hell of a fucking story, man.
Wow.
You want to talk about like going through it and coming out the other side sparkling.
This is, you know what? This episode is an inspirational episode. So if you're feeling a little bit down and like kind of like down in the dumps on yourself, like you've been getting, given a couple curveballs, you didn't catch it, you know, all the things, it flumbled out of your hands. This is an opportunity to sit back, listen to Steve Kelly talk about his life and get rejuvenated about your own.
Yeah. And you can't help but like feel the positivity coming from this guy from the moment we got on the phone.
He was literally talking through a smile the whole time. Mm-hmm. We were like, had him on Zoom. He was so chill, so up for conversation. And this is one where Aaron Apple and I didn't need to say much.
Nope.
Yeah, we talked a little less than normal because he's got such a story to tell, and you'll hear it in here. This is like I said a snapshot, but it's bigger than that, of the New Orleans music scene and all of the people involved in this and how amazing things are down there.
Yeah, he's got a album coming out on the 28th.
Yep,
I think it is. It's called Here's the Thing. And this is like a who's who of New Orleans musicians that have played on this thing, man. He got all of his friends to do stuff for this album, and it's pretty amazing. And especially after you hear the story of this and his story, the album comes to life in a really different kind of a way.
Yeah.
It's really special. And Mel did something really cool with this one. At the end, she went through the track list and asked him to give, what was it, 2 words?
I said 1 or 2 words, and he didn't always oblige that, but I accepted it because
3 words is okay.
Yeah, well, I said 1 or 2, so that's your rule, not my rule. All right. No, I think that after you do something for a very long time, you want to start to switch it up a little bit. Maybe just go a little left instead of always right. And I was looking at his album, and I was like, it'd be cool to see if he could give us a snapshot of what the song is in 1 or 2 words. And usually the name of the song is the snapshot of the song.
Yeah.
But we went a little bit deeper, and he did go deeper with us. And 1 out of 8 was the one song was this exactly what what he said.
So Apple, does he have anything coming up?
Well, I was going to say you can go the album right now. You can hear 3 singles off of it right now until the full release on the 28th, and then you can go over to his Instagram, Nola S. Kelly, to see what he's up to on Instagram, and then his website is stevekelly.io, and that'll show you what's going on with him. No tour dates announced right now, but it says tour dates coming. So keep an eye on it to see when he is going to be playing around you.
Yeah, this is heart and soul coming through in this album, everybody. So and through the guy himself. So we're stoked to bring you Steve this week and have you hear this conversation. Let's do the business.
And what's cool? One more cool thing about this too is like sometimes when you have to go to work and you're like, I don't want to go to work.
Like today,
you got a bad attitude about going to work, but then you go to work and like maybe somebody comes in and like brightens your day, or your coworker comes in and brings you a coffee. That's what happened. We were kind of like in a funk. It was a little bit of a later episode than we normally do, like later in the evening. We were kind of wanting to unwind and kick up our feet. Literally, Steve was exactly what we needed that night to lift our spirits, give us some fun back into our evening. And I just want to say, Steve, personally, thank you so much. And I can't wait to go to New Orleans so you can take us around and show us your spots. And I'm super excited. And I'm really excited for everybody to listen to this.
And I'm excited for everybody to follow No Simple Road at No Simple Road on the social media platforms. go to our website, which is, guess what it is?
www.nosimpleroad.com.
Yep. You can get our merch there, all the back episodes. You can find out more information about NSR. You can also hit a link on there that takes you to patreon.com/No Simple Road. That's where you can financially help us keep doing No Simple Road.
Keep the air in the tires, the gas in the tank, keep it going.
That's right. You can sign up for free and then check it out and then decide if you want to sign up for $1 or more. Do the thing. If you sign up for $5, you get a Lost Sailor leather No Simple Road keychain sent directly to your hands through your mailbox. Yeah. What am I missing?
971-808-1524
at the beginning. But that's
but that's a good
how would
reminder
they know?
how would they know? Throw it in there again.
We didn't say the number. So again, 971-808-1524 to share your stories like you heard when we first opened the show.
And then over on Apple Podcasts, you can always do that, use your thumb or your finger to hit that 5-star review and then go further to do a review. We are in the middle of February. We haven't had one for 2025.
You could be first.
So no one's listening new in 2025
or
that's being led to make any.
Come on.
Come on. I don't believe that. I don't believe it.
Go do it. Please.
Steve, you know what? After you listen to the episode, will you do that for us? Please, Steve. Thank you. I love you.
All right. And last but not least, please share the word about No Simple Road with somebody that you love and care about. Because that is the main way that we spread the mycelial network that is the No Simple Road family. Right?
That is how you do it.
All right. We ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Here we go.
Darwin's ready.
Without further ado, what?
Were we going to do a retraction?
Oh, yeah. Apple got the name of the drummer for the Daniel Donato's Cosmic Country. His name is Bronco.
Okay.
So
that was my mistake. I read it off of an old release.
We just wanted to make the record straight because we love our drummers here. Our son-in-law's a drummer. We don't want to offend any drummers.
Yeah,
I apologize,
no crooked
Bronco.
records.
I like that too. That's the street I grew up on, Bronco.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, let's try that again. Without further ado, the No Simple Road crew gives you
Steve Kelly.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Oh, there we
Ladies?
go.
Steve?
There we go. Sorry. All right,
Yeah.
cool. Sorry about that.
It's all good, man. No worries.
No worry. We were a couple minutes late having a little technical difficulty, so we're all here.
Yeah.
It's what
All
matters.
good, man. I was wrapping up a little dinner, so.
What'd you have?
Okay,
Let's hear it. Don't leave anything out.
No, honestly, I've been laid up sick for the last week. And today was I took a little opportunity to treat myself and had a steak and sweet potatoes and some asparagus.
Well,
there you go.
That's my kind of treat yourself, man.
Yes.
Hey, not the worst.
No.
How y'all doing?
Good, man. My name's Aaron, Steve.
Nice to meet you, man. I really appreciate y'all having me on. This is awesome.
Of course,
man. My name is Mel, if you don't know, and then we have
And then I'm Apple, the third member here.
Awesome. Nice to meet y'all for sure.
What's that cool piece behind you? That art piece?
Oh, that is Oh, yeah, Leah's texting me. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm in. Sweet. Cool. All right. That is, this is a photograph of graffiti from the Berlin Wall that was taken, I don't know. I mean, years ago. And it's one of my favorite things in the world. I absolutely love it. It's this long.
Wow.
And it was a roommate that I had, an old bass player in my old band, worked at a camera store. And the guy that owned the camera store was a photographer, obviously, and had taken the photo, I believe, and blew the image up and put it up on like poster board and that kind of thing, as an ad for, hey, we can do this service, we can do this for your photos,
Uh-huh.
And this was back when people still actually had photographs, but and he didn't sell very many of them. And one day he realized that if he put up the same size thing of people's kids, he started selling a lot more of them. And so this thing was going to the dumpster, and my roommate brought it home. And obviously, I mean, I was like, that's amazing. I love it. But like, we were young and dumb and like hung it up with like nails and I mean, just stupid shit.
As you're wont to do.
100%, and when he eventually moved out, he moved into a place that was too small for it. And so I traded him a TV. And I got that. And then when I moved into this place, I decided, I wasn't going to hang it with nails. It was already kind of starting to bow just a little bit in the middle and that kind of, and I wanted to take care of it. So I built a frame using, basically like,
molding.
I think that's molding, from, it's either molding or like a door jamb kind of thing.
That's so sick.
A buddy of mine is buddies of these two brothers are their family business is a lumber business, and then they have a lumber yard, and they've got really cool exotic wood that I've gone and built some other projects with, but they found these for me, and it's got this perfect little like 1-inch lip on the inside. And so it sits down and acts as the perfect frame. So I just mounted that to the wall and then slid the panels in, and it's been in good shape ever since.
It's amazing.
It's beautiful.
That's a piece.
It's great. Here, I'll let y'all get a little bit better.
It's hard to talk to you without mentioning that. You know what I mean?
Khrushchev making out with somebody?
Okay, that is, I love that. So it's Khrushchev and Honecker. Or no, I'm sorry. No, it is Brezhnev and Honecker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So for everybody listening, it's those two people with huge heads in a car. Their heads are coming out of the car. They're coming through the wall in the car, and then there's all kinds of like cool CCP graffiti. And
it's like how many feet? That's huge.
It goes halfway down the hallway.
Yeah, no, let me open up the hallway here and see. Turn the light.
Yeah. Okay, and also for everybody listening, it's maybe, I don't want to exaggerate, 12 feet. There ain't nothing cooler than getting something custom made for yourself.
I know. You can be like, you know what? I'm in my yellow phase, and you want some cool yellow tie-dyes accentuated by a little bit of green, maybe orange, and throw some purple in there.
You want to grab yourself some like white Dickies painter overalls and have them custom tie-dyed, or Dickies painter pants, or a hoodie, a G-string, I don't know, whatever, man. Custom shit's cool.
Probably dyed just about anything. That's I'm sure Travis would.
Go check out our brother over at thegratefulmountain.com. He is doing custom orders for the No Simple Road family right now. Shoot him a DM over on Instagram. Tell him what you want. Go to his website. He's got some stuff up there too.
Thegratefulmountain.com.
Yeah, he's got some good slaps up there, and there's nothing like when he did my bibs, like giving them like a few colors and letting an artist do their thing.
Yes, absolutely.
And this is definitely an artiste in the field.
And
of
it's
tie-dye.
also a collaboration.
That's true.
Yeah.
So go to thegratefulmountain.com, check out what he's got going on, maybe grab yourself some, or hit him up on Instagram and tell him what you want. He will make it happen. And you're getting free shipping for all orders in the US, and
our code NSR20 for 20% off of your order.
That's right. Thegratefulmountain.com.
Yeah, at least.
It might be. I think it is 12 foot by 5 foot.
Yeah,
like that.
it's huge.
Wow. What a cool thing to have in your home.
Subscribe to the Patreon.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it for you. It's
Yeah,
and what a cool story, cool little backstory.
Yeah, I mean, you know. Oh.
So, Steve, Leah hit us up about having you on, and
Sure.
Leah is amazing and never misses with us. And I already could tell that this is one of those. But reading your one sheet, Jesus Christ, man. Like I don't want the whole podcast to be about the beginning of that one sheet, but how can we not
it's a doozy,
talk to
man.
you without that?
It's a doozy.
When you meet someone new, how do you and they're like, oh, so Steve, tell me about yourself or whatever. Maybe in a setting that's not, music. How do you start to even?
It's funny because that's the kind of thing that, I historically, I'm not always great at opening up and talking about myself and look at me, and that's, to each their own. But that's typically the kind of thing that I let people kind of discover well down the line and don't even really kind of bring it up until it's, oh yeah, no, that definitely was a thing. Long story short, and it's cool because I'm kind of at this point where I'm kind of able to share my experiences to some of these younger cats coming up, and giving them a heads up of look, just shit can go sideways real quick, and you won't even see it coming. So you just gotta, but basically the long and short of it is that I had a band down here in New Orleans for 15 years, a band called Gravy. And some of my best friends, I love them to death. And we toured all through the Southeast and Colorado and did the jam band circuit and did it well. And we had 2 albums under our belt, and we were in position, we were trying to make a move. We wanted to jump to the next level, and we had a group of guys and everyone was all in, and it was, you hear all the time, it takes luck and all this and that.
Right.
And it does. And we were very lucky, we had a group of people who all liked the music and really enjoyed playing with each other. We had a great manager and a really solid agent. And we started working on our 3rd record. And we had Ben Elman and Rob Mercurio from Galactic producing. And they are badasses. I mean, those are 2 of the tastemakers down here. I mean, in my opinion, everything they touch turns to gold, and we went through a beautiful process of making this record, and we made a record that I, to this day, really love. And we get the record in the can, it's mixed and mastered. We're starting to tour and put together, we're shopping it to labels, and we're trying to start to get some buzz. And right as everything's about to hit the gravy train, Oh God, that's a bad pun.
That was a good pun.
I was going to say, I think that was pretty good.
I regretted that one as soon as I said it. Right as things were starting to look good, I got hit by a drunk driver I used to have a scooter, like a little Vespa kind of, a genuine Stella 4-speed. Loved it. And New Orleans is a great city for scooters because you can pull them right up to the festival and park them right there and get in and out and just kind of bounce around. And it's a very European city. Like the streets were laid out before cars were a thing. And so they're still very narrow, and small for the most part. And, I was on my scooter going over to a friend's house at about 3:00 in the afternoon on a Thursday afternoon, and got hit by a drunk driver and woke up in the hospital a couple of days later.
Man.
And broke.
God, man.
Yeah, I broke my pelvis, my ribs, my nose, my leg, and dislocated my ankle and my tailbone.
Jesus Christ.
And so I was in the hospital for a week. They put Humpty Dumpty back together, got titanium rods and all that. Went home and couldn't move for, almost 3 months, had to learn how to walk again. And at that point, I'm like panicking because, you all know how it is. Like you take 4 or 5 months off from the music industry.
Oh yeah, it has moved on.
It's like, who are you again?
100%. And so we like jump back to it and try to like jump back and like tour again. And it was realistically too soon for me. And I wasn't able to like load gear and man, the beautiful brothers of mine in Gravy, never once complained about picking up the slack and loading things and doing the things that I couldn't do. And they're amazing folks. But, at that point, we were also in our mid to late 30s. And, one guy had a girlfriend who was ready to get married and have kids. And one of the guys was like thinking about going back to school and, and so a few things, everybody kind of took that as a sign of like, this isn't really where our heart is anymore.
Oh, wow.
And so by, I don't know, we made it another couple of tours. And then, and it technically the band never broke up. It just kind of became the thing of like, we don't really want to tour anymore. We'd rather just kind of play in town and have it just kind of be a weekend thing and cool. And we've done occasional shows over the years. But it was really kind of the end of any kind of like professional momentum in that regard. And so then I took a little time. That was a rough couple of years. I took a little time.
How far back are we going, Steve?
That was 2016.
Okay. Just
so we're teeing up for 2020. So go. Okay. Yeah, please.
Yeah. And so,
first of all, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I'm sorry that altered your life like that. That must have been. You're talking about it like a story, but I just mean from human to human. I'm sorry that freaking stole your thunder like that and changed your trajectory. But I know that the story's positive, so continue.
Well, no, I very much appreciate the sentiment. I really do. But the funny thing is that, and it's almost impossible to recognize the silver lining when you're in the face of tragedy.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like now looking back at it, okay, perfect example, so, okay, cool. We're not touring anymore. And this is all I've done, for work for the last 15 years. Okay. What are my marketable skills? Oh no,
Yeah.
And so I took a little time. I did a computer coding boot camp. I spent some time traveling. I was really fortunate enough to have a cousin who lived in Australia at the time and had been trying to get me to come visit. So I took a few months and went to stay with her and kind of just bounced around tiny little surf towns and meeting people and really kind of, anytime that I have had to like make major life decisions, I'm at my best when I am in an unfamiliar environment around people I've never met, doing something I've never done. When I'm completely outside of my comfort zone, I thrive.
Wow. That's a unique skill.
It has served me well a handful of times. But I came back. One of the other things was that, as a touring musician, especially a young, hungry one in this city where you're always trying to, make a name for yourself and make an impression, I was very arrogant. And I was like, look, if I'm doing anything besides making music for money, I'm betraying my artistic self. I'm not being true to my, art form. And what a crock of shit that was. And so because I've always been a very technically minded guy, always been a computer guy, always been a very helpful guy. I enjoy helping people and have always fixed people's computers when they get broken or when something goes wrong or, just as friends. And so, and had gone to this computer coding boot camp and had kind of done a crash course there and basically came back to New Orleans, started a digital marketing company, like a freelance kind of thing, which was basically a digital Swiss Army knife for small businesses. If you needed IT services or if you needed a website or graphic design, or basically if you were big enough to need all these services, but not big enough to have somebody in-house doing it, I'm your guy.
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
And it worked out, and it let me still have enough free time to play and to create, but it took the pressure off of having all of that, my income come from music. And then I also started around that time, started booking bands at a small music venue down the street. Have you all been to New Orleans? Not
yet.
Unfortunately, we have really good friends that live down there that are like, please come to Jazz Fest. We'll show you everything. Yeah. Come on. And we just haven't.
That's our plan. Eventually, we're going to make it down there.
Well, when you all come to town, I'm going to take you all to Le Bon Temps Roule.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay.
Le Bon Temps has been there for 30-something years. And it is literally just a house on the corner of the street, but it's a huge house and it's been turned into a bar. It's a music venue. And there's so much history in this room. I mean, it was one of the first places that my band Gravy got a gig after Hurricane Katrina. Like we came back and it was one of the first places back open and supporting musicians and a really badass scene developed out of there. I mean, I remember doing shows with Anders Osborne, in the early 2000s there and bands that it was just an incubator for some really badass New Orleans talent. And, as always happens with an incubator, the talent outgrows it and moves on. And then it had kind of, I went down this, it had kind of like not fallen out, but kind of fallen out. It just wasn't what it had been. And I went down and was just kind of like, hey, I'd like to play here, just because I remember this place. I love this place. I'd love to. And I had moved in down the street and it's my local spot now. So, and it turns out the guy, the two owners, one of them is a metal guitar god, a guy named Pepper Keenan. I don't know if you're familiar with like Corrosion of Conformity.
Oh,
and
man.
Yeah, I know who Pepper is.
Yeah. And his partner Joe is the other owner, and sat down with them, and it was a situation where they had a few gaps in the calendar, and they're like, "Can you help us fill it? We need to get this ad out." And I called up some friends. I was like, "Hey, y'all do a gig?" Got it squared away, and little by little ended up becoming the talent buyer over there. And we've really grown the scene over there and brought it kind of back to the glory days. And now there's some really killer stuff going on over there, and I'm really proud of it. But, that's one of the other side hustles that I started doing. And then COVID hit.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And this story is, so many people say what you're saying. Like it was this close when right before COVID hit. Like we could taste it, and then boom. So please continue. Sorry to interrupt.
No. So at that time, I had my digital marketing company had a contract with a local merchandiser. A buddy of mine from here in New Orleans had started an artist merchandising company. And, I was kind of bringing in some of my musician friends because he was a one-stop shop, design and manufacturing and production and fulfillment, all that. It was awesome. And things were rolling, and then COVID hit. And so that was one of the first times where the silver lining began to become a little more clear, because now where all of these musicians in town were panicking, like, holy shit, we got to pivot. What do we do? This is all we've ever done. This is all we've ever known.
Yep.
I've already been through it. I've already had to pivot. So I was able to kind of weather that storm a little easier than some of my colleagues.
Yeah, you had some stuff in place.
Yeah, you diversified your income, and that, I think, is a huge pressure on all musicians.
Do you love Stella Blue?
I love Stella Blue.
Do you love Fire on the Mountain?
Yes.
That's my favorite.
Do you love Truckin'?
Yeah.
Yeah, even Truckin'.
That's one of my faves.
You can have all of these songs told in picture from our friends over at Shop Tour Bus.
What?
That's right. Go to shoptourbus.com or at Shop Tour Bus on Instagram. Check out all the Grateful Dead song-inspired designs by our friends over at Shop Tour Bus.
And when you order something from them, it doesn't just come in like that boring, rip it open, throw it away bag from Amazon or whatever. It comes in the coolest box. In fact, they got these new the Never Everland boxes that they're shipping sick. In right now. These are like keepsakes, like, for all your doodads. And it comes packed with doodads that come with the shirt.
You might even get doodads or a Grateful Dead bootleg.
So whatever it is that you want, when you fill out the checkout information, enter the promo code NoSimpleRoad, and you're going to get free shipping for whatever it is you ordered.
This is true. So go check out shoptourbus.com or at ShopTourBus on Instagram. Order yourself something cool, man. Do it now. Do it now. Right now.
Now's the time.
Go for it.
That if you're not independently wealthy or come from money, it's hard for you to fully give yourself without thinking, holy shit, my girlfriend's pregnant. Oh my God, I need to make rent.
The dog needs to go to the vet.
It takes away from the artistry in a lot of ways. And if you're able to diversify, that can really relax you into your craft.
It's a fairly unpopular thought. At times, and I'll tell young artists all the time, like, if you want to make it in the music industry, get a job. Have some sort of income that takes the pressure off, but that, like, in the back of your mind, you really can't stand being there and you don't want to be there, but that's going to fuel your creativity. But it's also going to take that pressure off of you and allow you to make your artistic choices for artistic reasons and not for financial reasons.
Yeah.
And so coming out of the pandemic, we had a bunch of musicians here in town. We would get together on weekly Zoom calls, and the concern was, okay, look, they're going to open these bars back up. And when they do, we need to make sure that artists can make a living wage out here doing what we're doing. And, a large part of that conversation was like, look, you all, don't go out there and undercut each other. Don't settle for $40-$50 a gig. Don't settle for $100 a gig. Go, let's all stand together and make sure. But in order to do that, in order to be able to have that luxury of, no, I'm not going to do this gig for less than $200 or whatever.
Right.
You're going to have some other source of income, or else you're just gonna be like, all right, fuck it. I gotta make rent. I'm going to do the gig,
Yeah.
And then that's how people undercut, and that's how it perpetuates. Long story with all that.
I love it.
It basically,
this is good. We're on a podcast. It long stories.
Good.
Long stories are what we like.
Cool. It very much, so COVID hit, we started weathering it, and I was in a better place than I was in a luckier place than a lot of people I knew. And I kind of felt a bit of a responsibility to help out. And selfishly, I looked around and I was like, wait a minute, that dude's always on the road. That dude's always on the road. All these folks are always on the road. I can never get them on a session. I've got things that I've been doodling on, and things I've been working on, like let's just go in the studio and see what happens. And so the first session I did was I brought in Kevin Scott, bass player from Government Mule, and Jimmy Herring, and just Colonel Bruce, and just one of my absolute soul brothers.
A badass.
A complete badass, but also just like a giant teddy bear.
Aww.
Just one of the most genuine, real people you will ever meet in your life. And he at the time was living in New Orleans, and Isaac Eady from Tedeschi Trucks Band that was also in town, and is another one of my favorite human beings, and one of my absolute favorite players, because he's one of those guys that will just play all the instruments and play them better than everyone. It's obnoxious, but
it's like a ringer.
Great.
Yeah.
100%. And Andrew Yanofsky from the Rumble, kill and keyboard player, songwriter, singer, just an awesome dude. And Andrew Block on guitar, and Andrew Block had toured with Chromatic, and he actually was running the studio that we were recording at, called Neutral Sound, and it's unfortunately not there anymore, but it was an absolute gem of a room, and it was just super vibey. And we all got together, and we had Mac Major, who's a brilliant engineer and producer and drummer and awesome guy. I mean, just the nicest. It's become really important to me since before the pandemic, really, that at a certain level, everyone can play. Everyone's got the chops, but who people are really matters to me, and I want to make music with people that I like and respect and can grow from personally and musically and creatively. And
that speaks also to what you're talking about too, about not making music for the paycheck, but because it's who you are and what you do. You know what I mean? And if you're doing that, you want to be with people that you vibe with.
100%.
Yeah.
And I personally have always benefited from a collaborative endeavor. I very much will get stuck on an idea, and then all I need is to hear somebody else's tiny take on it, or like, what if we did blah blah? And it's just like, oh yeah, that's it. And then just like it springboards into a new thing, and so I took in a couple of rough ideas to that session, and we just played, and I actually it was crazy because I didn't even play.
You got a band so they could play.
Yeah. It was, I was wearing my producer hat and just kind of sitting back, and Block was playing, and Yano was playing, and Kevin and Isaac, and it was great, man. And then took that session and kind of played with it and moved some things around and copied or cut and paste, and, did a handful of things, started writing to it, and little by little kind of things kind of started to come out of it. And then went and took it to the Naughty Professor guys. And those guys are some of the most brilliant little, they're all at least 10 years younger than me. And at the time, they're awesome. They're just super jazzy, like just brilliant players, right?
These are like wizards.
100%.
Okay, got it.
Wizards.
Got it.
And I knew, the way the song had kind of taken shape is, I had a verse, chorus, and that was about it. And I didn't really want to like do too much with it, but we had this like section where everybody in the room was just grooving and wouldn't quit, and it felt good. And so rather than cutting this out and making this song short, I was like, man, I really just hear this like kind of like a power-ish kind of like horn line, just like really like staccato, kind of thing going on. And I brought it to the Naughty P horn section. And Nick Elman, who is a sax player, clarinet player, composer, arranger, all around badass. I mean, he is in the last year or so moved to LA and like caught on with Maroon 5 and he's doing very well for himself. Brilliant writer. He and Ian Bowman, one of his saxophone partner in Naughty P, wrote some ideas. Came in and they brought John Culbreth, who's the trumpet player in Naughty Professor, and he's one of these like that's killing kind of playing,
Yes.
And
you're not at a shortage for awesome musicians.
Holy shit.
I have such an embarrassment of riches. New Orleans is such a special place for that, but also because New Orleans tends to bring out the personality in a player in a lot of ways that maybe some other like more corporate or more like commercial driven environments won't. And again, you're getting to work with like good people who are doing this just because they love it,
Yeah.
And so we took that in, they laid the horns down. And then I did some edits and we kind of tweaked a couple of things, but it was more or less ready to go. And then at the time I was like, I'd played it a bounce at the time for Isaac. I was like, dude, you remember the session we did? Like, and this is like 2 or 3 years later, I'm like, I've made something, and he's listening to it. And he's like, man, you got to let me go back and put some percussion on that. And it's like, what am I going to say? No.
It's good how it is. It's fine.
No. Like if you're hearing the idea, I love that spark, that like hearing it and like knowing what you want. Like that spark is like, that's what turns me on, man. That's what I'm going for every time out. And we literally like spent an hour or two, and he just kind of went through and basically did a very like auxiliary kind of approach to it, where he was playing cymbals and fills, like toms, and it, oh God, it was just perfect. I mean, he killed it. And so that was kind of the first song, and
wow,
that lit the spark of like, okay, I still love doing this. I need to be, and you know, at the time, had a COVID relationship that had kind of fallen apart, as was the case with a lot of folks at the time. So I had plenty to write, and
no shortage of material, huh?
Yeah, no, not at all.
You're good at finding these silver linings.
You're right. You've got a lot of riches around, you know.
You know, a lot of it goes back, honestly, to working with Rob and Ben from the last Gravy record, you know, and then I took a couple of a rough demo of one song of St. Jude, and then the copy of How Are We Here Again, took it over to Rob, and you know, was like, hey bud, I kind of want to do this. Do you have any interest in producing? Because I love his approach to the craft. I really respect his ear. I respect his the way he's able to make decisions when decisions need to be made, but also not rush decisions when they don't need to be made. And I've learned so much from him as a producer and a writer. And you know, thankfully he said, yeah, man, let's do it. And so we started with a 3-track EP, and it was, you know, originally the goal was, okay, like, you know, I'll do a 3-track EP. I'll like shop it around to some folks. Maybe I'll get like some songwriting work. And I have, I'm doing some songwriting for a few folks right now, and I've done that over the years, and it's a process I really enjoy. And then I just kind of kept writing, and the 3-track EP turned into a 5-track EP. And then I sent it to a friend of mine, who is a professional, complete badass, who I respect her professional acumen and opinion very much, and just kind of sent it out and was like, hey, look, you know, what do you think? You know, could you maybe like shop this around to some folks, or, you know, what do you know? And she's like, well, you know, it's an EP, and an EP is kind of what you do to like get the record deal. Like, but if you're a songwriter, can you write a few more songs? I was like, yeah, I can write a few more songs. She's like, write me a few more songs. I'll shop it around some folks I know. We'll see how it goes. And right after that, I was sitting down with Bill Daniel from Naughty Professor, guitar player, and he also runs a killer music studio here in town called Wild Child Studios.
All right.
And he hit me up and was just like, hey, you know, because I'd done a lot of tracking and overdubbing at his place, and we've been friends for a long time. And he's like, you know, I kind of wrote a few of these demos, but they're not going to work for Naughty Professor. Maybe they would work for you if you want to try and write something to them. And he played 4 things for me. 3 of them ended up going on my record. And the 4th one we're using for another artist that I'm writing for now. And it was perfect timing, and it was the universe saying, this is, you know, what we're doing here. And we put the rest of the songs together, and the record was done, and 5 years later, it's coming. I mean, not 5 years from all of it. I mean, we wrapped everything.
Yeah.
But 5 years from the start, the record's coming out, and it's it's been such a cool, fun ride. I mean, that first session was so great that I decided that's how I want to do the whole record. And so I took this very Steely Dan approach where every song was a different group of musicians. And it was like whoever was around and whoever was like the right person for that song, and it's so cool because now I sit back and listen to the record, and I can hear a Bill Daniel guitar lick or a Sam Shaheen drum fill or a Rob Mercurio bass line or a Kevin Scott run, and it's like I hear their personalities coming through their playing, and it just it makes me love it all over again.
So this is like it's deeply
it's a collage,
deeply personal as it could possibly be.
And one of the
100%,
one of the best stories of like collaboration that I've heard.
Yeah,
like all of the people
man.
involved over that time, and like you said, the love that has gone into it. With amazing.
It genuinely was a matter of like people just being generous with their time, their talent, and being able to like see the writing on the wall or whatever, or see the forest for the trees, or like and really
the vision,
see what we were going for, and be okay with helping me flesh it out. And I made a point of sharing writing and publishing credit with everybody who was involved in writing and publishing, because I think there's only like one song on the record that I like wrote top to bottom and was like, all right, here we go, it's good, and the rest of them was really a collaborative thing, and I appreciate all these people, and they're just it's a laundry list. I don't know if Leah sent over the list of everybody who's on this thing, but it's killing, man.
Steve, you're talking about all these people and how amazing they are. Clearly, the way that you were able to get this collaboration, they're probably saying the same thing about you when they're talking about my homie Steve. He's amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has an eye for this. He can hook you up with digital. Like, he's in the scene. He's about our artists. Like, I'm sure that all of this came to you because you were worthy of it.
Well, I appreciate that. The cruel like music school musician in me is like, no, you're never good enough.
Of course.
But it's.
But at some point, you have to look back at your own track record and be like, I did some dope ass shit.
And
I am like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to like take it in because you literally did that work. You went out, you 100%. Reached those specific people because you knew something awesome was going to happen. And you had, like you said, you had awesome experiences, really hard ones, and you mixed them together and created, like I said earlier, like this collage of beauty and healing, honestly. And, like, because I listened to the songs and they're awesome, beautiful. And that Harvest Moon was like, oh my gosh, I already love that song. I didn't know I could love it more in a different way just because of the approach and the just the voice. Like, everything was amazing. So I just, don't leave yourself out in the credits is my thought.
Well, here's the other part of it too, Steve, is you said it earlier. You were like, at a certain level, everybody can play. They got chops. It's about the person. Mm-hmm. You have to realize that about yourself too, right? Like, give yourself credit where credit's due.
No, for sure. But what it really is was also a guiding principle of everything that I've done since I got back from traveling.
Right.
Was that any musical project that I'm a part of, I want to be the weak link. Like I want to be the I want to look around the room and just be in awe of everyone there. And I've been able to make that happen.
You know, you said earlier that you are the type of person that likes to help people, and you've been through some shit, man. Like you know, you got knocked down, and then you got knocked down again, and then you got knocked down again. And most people, well, a lot of people don't recover from that. Like, and I understand what you were saying at the beginning about how like you're able to talk about it now and share what wisdom you gained through that. I've been through my own struggles, and I understand what that means to have distance from the thing.
Yeah.
But if you like, for those younger musicians that are out there that get smacked down, what's your advice?
Oh man, you know, it's funny. Just keep playing. You know, I mean, it like this is very much an industry where you have to love it inside and out. You have to love failing. You have to love getting kicked in the teeth. And you just have to love understanding that that's part of it. And, you know, there are, you know, I'm by no means unique, in terms of, you know, my experiences and my luck. You know, some people have had, you know, a meteoric rise and then had the rug completely pulled out from under them and are unable to recover, you know, and some people have toiled and never quite gotten to where they want to be. And it's heartbreaking, but it's also, you know, it's, all I can say is that, you know, through it all, there's nothing else I would rather be doing with my time. I mean, it really is just like that. It's seeing, like being able to be a fly on the wall, even if I'm like the fly who's calling the shots, being able to be a fly on the wall for creative collaboration and seeing brilliance manifest and seeing, you know, the conduit opening and inspiration coming down and manifesting it. And it's a special thing. And
it is special.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's the thing.
It's why we will go travel however many miles to go see our favorite band.
Yeah.
It's because we're watching it happen in real time, man.
Yeah.
100%.
There truly is nothing like that when you see your favorite musician up there and maybe you've seen him 100 times, but that 101st time you catch it, you know? And I think that, like Aaron said, that's why we all go. I mean, that's kind of why we started the direction of the podcast, really.
Yeah.
It moved in that way because we're so like
Blown away.
awe. Yeah. In awe of like, holy shit. And then, you know, we're thinking like, oh, it's just this band. No, it's musicians, period, that are making it happen. And then, you know, you see one person do it and it kind of like picks the other person gets on it, and it's the coolest thing. And you're right, being a fly on the wall would be awesome.
It is, you know, we can get into like the nerdery and the science of you know, music being the inherent human language and you know, that kind of thing. Like seeing how cool it is to see two people who've never met each other, who don't speak the same language, being able to create music together is
bananas.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You know? But you know, the flip side to that, and then the other side of it is just like, it's just a very, it's a way for people to connect in a way that they can't in other walks of life. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like it's and it's I don't even know if we fully like comprehend the X's and O's about it, but I know that like the people out there who get the vibe and get the feeling, like they know exactly what I'm talking about.
I can't think of anywhere else that like 20,000 people or even 500 for that matter, other than church, maybe, where everybody is focused on the same thing, paying attention to the same thing, and
sports
and involved in a collaborative way with what's happening. It's special.
I can make the argument that sports, one of the main reasons that I mean, granted, faith is a very powerful thing and it is its own thing, but I think the musical component to the religious experience is inseparable. You know, like I don't think religion would be what it is today if there were not musical components to it. If you know, like, at least. You know.
I was just going to say, think about like if you go to church and you have that, you can have a spiritual experience, but you can go to a concert and have just as deep of a spiritual experience. And or like deeper. You said, that face, you know, earlier.
If not deeper.
Deeper.
You know, exactly. And the part about the music, it's not connected to anything religious. So it's almost more pure. You know, it's like emoting something that you didn't expect to have happen.
It is on a very personal level, you know, like it is very much where, you know, and I do think that faith has its place in a personal approach. That's just my opinion. But I definitely think that the way you're able to be surrounded by 20,000 people, but very much have your own experience and like your own, like, it's like they're talking to me right now. Like that's some powerful shit, man.
Yeah. Like they're playing my song. How did they know? And you're like, it's not your song. It's my song. You know?
But if you think about, there's like infinite levels of shit happening too, because that's happening for you. It's happening for me. It's happening for her. Right. But then there's a collective experience that's happening on top of that. And there's an experience that the band's having from the energy of the crowd that's going on. And there's all these different layers, things that are going on. And I think that is like, at least for me as a grown up, I don't even know what that means, but I'm 53. I guess I'm a grown up. I think that's probably one of the most exciting things about life is that feeling and that thing going on. I mean, that it really, it does something for me that nothing else quite comes even close to.
I mean, you know, and not to denigrate that in any way, shape, or form, or you know, but I say it from time to time. There's not a better drug on the market than that feeling of connecting with someone else musically. You know, whether it's on stage in front of a crowd or, you know, with your bandmates when you're really locked in and it's just perfect. You know, there is not a better feeling out there.
Well,
I mean, it is.
Like I always say, you can't pay for you can't buy goosebumps.
Right.
That's something that comes from certain things that just And I was going to say, I'm backing up for a second, so I had to step to let the dog out.
No, you're good.
Pee.
I've got two of them here. You're good.
I've seen the beagle. It looked like a beagle in the background.
He's a Chiweenie somewhere.
Oh,
right?
Chiweenie.
Look at this little dude.
Oh my gosh, those ears.
He's a Chiweenie and his tongue is
hanging out.
What a little cutie.
And then hold on, we're gonna get Sue over here too.
You don't leave Sue out.
Whoa. That looks like an Ewok.
She is definitely a little Ewok.
Oh my God, how cute.
Well, that's Darwin sitting there.
this
You
is
can see him in
Darwin.
the corner.
Awesome. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, but backing up a little bit, like about you, like collaborating all this, bringing all these musicians together. I couldn't imagine how that feels and everything. Other than we got a little tiny taste of it when we put together our holiday party.
Oh yeah,
2 years ago. It was members from three or four local bands that we had asked to, will you do this all-star band thing for our holiday party at the small club up here? And to see them play together, like on short notice, they got together. Some of them knew each other, some of them didn't. None of them really had played together. And then to see them play, and we had a part in like bringing that together was the goosebumps. And now to know that they're playing, it sparked some musical friendships that had not happened. Awesome. And we were like, it's kind of like, oh, we helped make this happen.
Yeah. We got them together.
It was awesome to hear because, one of the members came up to me and was like, thank you so much. He's like, I love my band so much, but when you're playing with your same friends that you're always playing with, you can get in a little bit of a musical rut, and to be able to be reinvigorated by playing with some people that you love and respect or didn't even know. He was like, they were grateful. They were thanking us. Really cool. And I was like, what? Like, that is the coolest thing that anyone could ever say, because when we saw them up there, you could see the fun, you could see the happiness as they're playing. And
that's what it's about at the end of the day. It's fun, right?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, perfect example. Damn it. Sorry. That was supposed to be a much smoother.
Look, we're all just chilling at home. This is not like, some like fancy schmancy Rolling Stone interview or something.
Good.
This is like chill.
No. So that diversion of Harvest Moon.
Please. Yes.
That was really cool. So like during the pandemic, where's the pan as I like to call it, I did we're sitting around, everybody's bored, like, the first couple of weeks go by, you're like, all right, cool, vacation's been great, and then you're like, all right, I'm going stir crazy.
Yeah.
And I did I called it a quarantine sessions, where I had musicians film themselves playing individually, and then stitched it all together and made a collaborative product, finished product, a song.
Right.
And it was all like covers that were like pandemic specific, or I did a version of "I Want to Dance with Somebody" by Whitney Houston, and but one of the versions I did was Harvest Moon with a brilliant young singer in New Orleans named Sari Jordan. And Sari was, I want to say, at the time, like, she was still a student at Tulane. And we had I've always loved that song, and it was a special song for the relationship that had kind of fallen apart during the pandemic, and so it was on front of mind, And Sari and I worked out this 4-part harmony that I just absolutely loved, and if we're being honest, she probably did most of the heavy lifting. You know what I mean? And then so Nick Elman from Naughty Professor did the clarinet solo on that, and did it for the quarantine sessions. And then when it came time to do this record, I knew that I wanted to do that on there, just because it was that feeling of, connecting and doing something special, but doing something different, and doing something honest, and it felt like an obvious choice. And so took that in, and had the brilliant Gabrielle Cavassa as vocal producer on the record. And if you all are not familiar with Gabrielle yet,
Okay.
she for the past couple of years has been on tour with Joshua Redman. Has recently been signed to Blue Note Records, and in addition to having the absolute voice of an angel,
Wow.
she's a total badass. She knows she knows what she's doing. She has complete and utter control of her instrument, her voice. And I knew for this record that I wanted singing and vocals to be a large component. I love vocal harmonies. Even with like my favorite jam bands, I love the Grateful Dead. But some of my Grateful Dead stuff has always been like the American Beauty stuff they did with Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, like just those thick harmonies were just, it makes me, I still today will sit down and play those songs,
Right.
And so I hired Gabby to teach me how to sing and give me vocal lessons, and she did a lot of work, and
She did her job well, right?
she is absolutely brilliant. I mean, just little things like telling you, because you'll be in the studio and you'll be singing something and you'll like not quite get it right, and it's like you can't hear the pitch, you can't just and then like the more frustrated you get in the vocal booth, the more frustrated, and it's not good for anyone. That vocal booth can be a really alienating place. And she would just come in and be like, just sing it as gee, just gee. And then the part is easy and done. Or hey, just think of, turn your head side to side and while you're singing, and it just like little things to take your brain out of the mix. Or smile when you sing this, or frown when you sing this, or like just little. She's an absolute genius.
Wow.
And
what's her last name again?
So Cavassa, Cavassa. Yeah, she is. I have nothing but amazing things to say about her. And I spent a lot of time with her on this record, writing and rewriting and harmonizing and reharmonizing and wait, is that the right melody for this? So Harvest Moon was, I knew what I was going for there, and she was the obvious. I mean, that's just for I can say that I've gotten to sing with this amazing thing. I mean, she's, and then one by one, people just kind of came on board. I mean, Stanton Moore just volunteered, spent like 20 minutes and did just like the most tasteful brushwork. I mean, an absolute masterclass on brushes. I ended up using the original clarinet solo that Nick had done, just because the way he recorded it and the way he captured it was so vibey and so perfect. I didn't want to mess with the mojo.
Yeah, you'd be trying to get that again. Why
exactly.
bother? I already got it.
Try to catch magic twice.
And then, Robert, being the brilliant, producer that he is, took me down to Maroney Studios and we worked with Rick Nelson. And Rick Nelson gave me 9 string parts in a few hours. Two an upright bass. A plucked bass and a bowed bass. 2 cellos, 2 violas, and 3 violins, and just, created this beautiful. I came in with a few, I think we want to do a ba-da-da-da here and there, and he took it and ran with it and just absolutely knocked it out of the park. And I really appreciate you saying something about that song, because that I take a lot of pride.
Well, I'm
with
glad
that
shows,
song.
definitely.
I'll say we've had over 400 episodes, and I've never had such a detailed, I've never heard such a detailed outlook and like account for an album before.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah, you're speaking
like we've
she's
heard
speaking
like,
for the group.
cool stuff and awesome stories. I'm not downplaying anybody else, but like the way that you light up and the detail and just the info, all of it, you can see how much this has really like what it's done for you. It's like brightened you up from the inside, you know?
And this is one of our favorite things. Like we've all listened to the album several times now.
Awesome.
Can't wait to listen to it again.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say.
When we get to talk to now we have this backstory. I didn't realize really, like now we know kind of who's played on different songs, and we can listen for these things now. And that's amazing
and
what you all have created.
Also, the folks that are listening to the show now can do the same thing.
Yeah.
They can go and check it out. So when does it drop?
So the official launch date is February 28th, here in about 18 days.
Wow.
Okay.
As of recording. It's been great. It's I can't wait, man. I can't wait to get it out there. And, it really has been, just a really reinvigorating process, and it has brought so much happiness to me, and has been a lot of been a lot of therapy.
I'd imagine.
But the funny thing is like, I'm dying to get it out there. I'm ready to have it out, and I'm already ready to go back in and keep working on the next one.
So
go ahead.
At the beginning of our episodes, we usually play like a minute and a half of a song from the artist that we're talking to.
Sure.
It's cool if we do that, if this comes out before the 28th.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, please, man. Please,
Okay, I just don't want to
we had a small shipping mishap in the warehouse where we ordered some CDs. We've got vinyl ordered as well, and the CDs came in, and a few people had pre-ordered, and
it went to them.
The warehouse went ahead and sent them out, and they were so apologetic. They're like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And I was like, "No, it's cool. These are people who want the music. Let them listen to it. I want them to have it. Please, by all means, play whatever, share whatever. Okay. I appreciate you all."
So Steve, before we leave, I have a small little thing I'm hoping to do. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? There's 8.
Yeah.
So 1 or 2 words. I'm going to call out the name and you give me 1 or 2 words about the song. That's it. You've already dissected them.
Okay.
So, all right. Here we go again.
Wait, how are we here again?
Here we go again. I'm giving you the name.
Is that it?
Yeah, right?
How are we here again?
Oh, I'm sorry. How? Sorry. How are we here? I can't read right now.
You're fine. 1 or 2 words for how are we here?
That's a tough one, Mel. Dang.
Yeah.
It is, but it's a good one. It is persistence and the persistence of love.
Okay.
All right.
Loretta.
Getting your groove back.
Okay. St. Jude.
Love.
Aw. Maybe.
It's okay.
Aw.
Okay. Green-eyed queen.
Just raw passion.
You can see the
I
wheels
like
turning
that.
on that one.
Always been you.
Always been you.
Aw.
That's it. So that's okay.
Yeah.
Hold on for dear life.
Never give up.
All right. And our favorite,
Harvest
Harvest
Moon.
Moon.
Still in love with you.
Aw. See what I'm saying?
Wait, hold on. I want to tack on one more. I'm going to pull up an old one from Gravy.
Oh, nice.
Johnny Chest Hair.
That's what we were listening to right before you came on.
That song has like a Hendrix funky.
Oh, that's awesome. Dude, okay, I'll give you a quick story on that. I'll give you a quick story on Johnny Chest because that deserves it. Johnny Chest Hair.
I was hoping so. That song is
Johnny Chest Hair is technically my buddy John Melton. And when the way Gravy became a thing was, we were a band, but we weren't like touring. And then Katrina hit, and we evacuated to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where I went to college. There you go. You can see there's an A somewhere.
Okay.
And we were there for 4 months. A friend of mine had a 4-bedroom house that she let the band stay in, and it was amazing. And that town produces characters like you've never seen. I mean, it is just absolute, it's a blast, and it's a very special place. And that was a very special time. And Johnny Chest Hair is about all the people that we would run into at a place called the Booth. And the Booth is a Tuscaloosa staple and has been there forever, and a music venue that basically provided us the home, and that's kind of so we're camped out in Tuscaloosa, and all of these venues across the Southeast are like reaching out to give New Orleans bands gigs, trying to support people after Katrina, and it was amazing. It was
so
beautiful.
Cool.
And Tuscaloosa was especially, generous and kind to us. And Johnny Chest Hair is me writing about all the people who made that time special. And
hell yeah.
Right on, Tuscaloosa.
I love it. Now I got a little more backstory when I listen to that again.
Yeah.
And I want to encourage all the listeners out there, when you hear this, go listen to the Gravy albums as well. Jamming.
Yeah, for real.
Wow, Steve, what a beautiful evening you provided us,
Thank
man.
you so
Seriously.
much.
Thank you
Thank
for
you all so much.
your
This
stories. All of it.
Hey, and if you come out to Portland, Oregon, man, we'll show you around.
Man, I need to. I've got a dear friend of mine from New Orleans who's out there doing his residency, and I need to come out there. Y'all, thank y'all so much. This has been a real treat, and I really appreciate all the kind words. Man.
Yeah, you got some musical family here too.
And your positivity also is just like contagious through everything you've been through. Like you said, a lot of people, we've all had hardships, but your positivity through what you've been through and what you've created is awesome, man.
Right on, brother.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate y'all.
We'll talk to you soon,
Please
Steve.
come. Hey, please come visit me soon, man.
We will, man.
I'll send Leah my number. Hit me up, man.
Awesome.
Right on, Steve.
Take it easy, Steve.
Have a good night. Yes.
Take care, y'all.
That right there goes to show that you don't have to crumble when life beats the shit out of you. That you can still be dope.
And also, he mentioned luck too, and that's a real thing.
Yeah, luck's a real
is
thing.
real.
For real, yeah.
It's real.
Not fade away.
And everybody has access to luck. That's that's true. They have access to it.
But there's people out there that are just.
It's not because you deserve it. Luck happens not because you deserve it. It happens
because it's not that they didn't have access.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can't earn, you can't buy it.
Saying.
Luck happens.
It just happens, and I think that's what a great time. I had a great time.
Well,
like
what you said, you were, as soon as you started saying it, you were speaking for all of it, because the story behind this album, usually while everybody listens knows, we usually talk more. But he had such an interesting long story.
There's nothing for us
so
to even
elaborate with so many players. It's like, well, not a snapshot. It's more than a snapshot of the New Orleans music scene.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like people, I imagine anybody listening to this that lives in New Orleans, it's gonna know all the It's a great story of down there.
Yeah,
like,
and what that
crap.
community does for each other and how they come together and support each other. And
that's amazing.
Yeah, and hey, Leah.
Thanks,
Leah.
Thank you so much,
What
Leah. This
sweet
was
human being.
this was awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
We will be back. Well, actually, go listen to the album.
Yeah.
It'll be out on
February 28th.
February 28th. It's Steve Kelly. The name of the album is Here's the Thing. And
I like that.
Here's the thing.
And it's coming out before the 28th. While you're waiting, you can go listen to Gravy. They have 3 really good albums. The first album is the one that has Johnny Chest hair on it.
Okay.
And a great instrumental called The Pullout.
All right.
We will be back on Monday with another edition of the No Simple Road Weekly Rewind. And until then, take care of each other. Smile at a stranger. Safety third. Hydrate. And hey, everybody, send some love to Darwin, man. He's going through it. We love y'all. Peace.
But it's a burden. Family needs has been deferred, and hella means been the earth, and alchemy can bring the birth, the melody of a new born. So persistent, so resistant, so insistent, so commitment, so resilient, or haven't you learned it? No simple road. 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 My windshield is shattered as I focus through the spot in the corner that is still intact. The react is both a defense mechanism as well as a fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A=A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
This is Krista Makes, guitarist and vocalist for Less Than Jake, and host of Krista Makes a Podcast, a songwriting podcast where every week I'm joined by an amazing guest to break down the writing, recording, and release of one iconic song from their career. In our giant evergreen back catalog of episodes, we've had rock legends such as Dee Snider and Huey Lewis, punk rock favorites like Mark Hoppus, Fat Mike, and Brett Gurewitz, and up-and-coming artists of today such as Liz Stokes of the Beths and Genesis Owusu. We've had guests from all genres and styles of music, and I guarantee that if you peruse our back catalog, you'll see several episodes that'll make you say, man, I gotta hear that. Whether you're a fan of music or a creator of music yourself, you'll take away a whole new appreciation for the songs you know and love. Krista Makes a Podcast is available for free on all the places you could possibly listen to podcasts, and new episodes come out every Monday.